Shabbat Shalom L'chaim L'chaim. This week's Torah portion here in Israel is Shelach, and b'chutz la'aretz it is Be'alotcha. The Torah portion of Shelach mainly focuses on the sin of the spies and all they saw in the land of Israel and their report. And it also has some mitzvot, like what to do with a person who's not observant of Shabbat, and the mitzvah of Techelet on our tzitzit. But the main focus is the sin of the spies. Now, I heard a beautiful Dvar Torah by Rabbi YY Jacobson. It was really a shir, but Rabbi YY Jacobson brought from Rabbi Shmuel, I always forget, is the Arizal's main student was Rabbi YY Vital, and this was his son, Rabbi Shmuel Vital. And Shmuel Vital is a very novel idea, because from what I've understood, a very Hasidic understanding of the sin of the spies is that they didn't want to go into Israel. They wanted to stay out in the desert where Hashem was, and where all their needs were provided for. But Rabbi Shmuel Vital comes and brings this whole new idea that I actually didn't think about. He says that the spies weren't so worried about, staying out of Israel or not. But they knew from the Torah portion of last week's Torah portion, where in Be'alotcha, where Yeshua, or Hosea back then, comes up to Moshe and he says there are two people, Eldad and Medad, who are prophesying in the camps. Go stop them. And Moshe basically says, "What, you nervous for me? Are you jealous on my behalf?" And what the Arizal explains is that Eldad and Medad were prophesying, one opinion is about the death of Moshe. I think Rashi actually explains that as well. But they said that, and he basically says that Moshe is going to die before we go into the land of Israel. He's not going to make it to Israel. And so what Rabbi Shmuel Vital comes to say is that the spies weren't worried about, leaving the desert. Hashem is always with us. What they were worried about was losing their teacher, losing Moshe Rabbeinu. And they loved him. They didn't want him to die. And so they were trying to prevent the Jews from going into Israel. And it's quite beautiful, but what Rabbi YY Jacobson brings as the main point is that there are two kinds of love. There's a love where I say, I want to stay with you forever. I don't ever want to leave you. I want to be with you. That's a very personal love. It's very selfish. I want to stay with you. I want to always be with you. I never want to leave you. And that was the sin of the spies, he's saying, is that they just wanted to stay with Moshe the whole time. The second level of love is a much deeper love. It's saying, I want to do your will. Whatever it is you want, I want to do, because when I do those things, I become one with you. And so when Moshe said we're going into the land of Israel, he was just conveying Hashem's will. And the spies should have realized that going into the land of Israel is really how we become one with Hashem. Now this place, the land of Israel, it's going into mundane tasks. It's going to work. It's going to do things to make a living, to make parnasa. It's really connecting to the Shekhinah. This whole Torah portion actually is very much focused on the idea of malchut, of the feminine attribute, connecting to work, connecting to these tasks that can sometimes be so difficult. But this is the idea that through going into the land of Israel, we are able to connect to this. We are able to connect to this deeper level of love, of doing Hashem's will, of doing Moshe Rabbeinu's will, and in that sense, becoming one with them, as though we had never really left the desert at all. Shabbat Shalom.